Ni wern narik dien, wadarang aktanuk, makbarian wadarang bagaruk, manamaith mirabea, nailinga wadarang bake, karingarabu bunjo the eagle, wa the crow, kimbani ba Deanne Gilson. Welcome to Wadarang Country.
Live from Wadarang Country, welcome to Lance TV. Coming to you from the palatial new Camp Street Studios in Ballarat, get ready to laugh, think, love and sparkle. And now, it's time to turn that camp dial all the way up to fabulous. Here's your host, the multi-award-winning Lance-tastic, Lance de Boyle.
Darlings, how are you? Lance de Boyle here. You're watching Lance TV, and we're coming to you live from Wadarang Country here in Ballarat, the resting place of Bunjil the Eagle. And hello to Harper Francis Finitash Timmins in the thread. Hello there. Pull up a sofa and get a drink and get a drink and sit on your sofa. However you do it, we're going to sit down here and check in and see how we are after the week that was. Now, with all of the stuff in mind, there has been quite the outpouring across Facebook since Wednesday's election in the USA. And if you are watching us from the States or you are an expat from wherever you might be now, please know that we are here by your shoulder. I don't know how else to put it. I think there's been a lot of outpouring on social media. There's been a lot of reaction across the place. There is a wave of something coming that we think we know, but we don't know. And, you know, it's the fear of what could be known. But I just want you to hold fast and just keep moving forward. We just all need to keep doing what we are doing. Yeah, I've been practicing a song since Wednesday and I can only remember the first couple of lines. So for those of you who know, if you know, you know. Song goes like this. The sun on the meadow is summery warm. The stag in the valley run free. That's all I've got for you. For those of you who know cabaret, you'll know that song. Without too much to do though, talking about cabaret, which is I think currently playing in Sydney somewhere, our guest tonight actually has a bit of a background in Pro-Am theatre here in Ballarat, and will probably know that song too, and many more. Please be upstanding, charge your glasses, clap your hands, shout from the rooftops for the one, the only, Mr. Glenn Fisher.
Darling.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Sit down.
Oh.
Who are you wearing, darling?
Oh, yeah, this is Tarjay.
Oh, très chic.
Yeah, Red Circle Boutique, dear.
Oh, Red Circle, I haven't heard it called that before. That's great.
No, bit of Tarakash and bit of this and that. So, yeah.
Bit of Eurotrash?
Yeah, bit of Eurotrash, yeah.
Darling, we best know you here in Ballarat as one of the many people who for years have been involved in Ballarat Pro-Am theatre here.
Yeah. This year actually marks my 40 years of being involved in the local theatre scene here in Ballarat. So, yeah, I know. Who would have thunk it? So I had a lot of great memories over the years of doing lots of fabulous shows, both on stage and behind the scenes here in town. So, yeah, been a lot of fun.
Amazing. We're going to learn a little bit about Glenn tonight. For those of you who watched last week, remember I said, next week we're going to have a man who's been in the same job for 30 years. It's this guy. And now you're saying you've been in Pro-Am theatre here in Ballarat for 40 years.
For 40 years,
You're
yeah.
a stayer, aren't you?
I know, yeah.
It's disturbing.
I know.
Glenn disturbs me, and Glenn's allowed to disturb me because we've known each other for 40 odd years.
We have, yes.
Some of those years were definitely more odd than others.
Yes, Lance was actually one of the first people I ever met in town.
Yeah,
So,
and we were discussing that, and his therapy's going well.
Yeah. My psychologist is having wonderful holidays through it, yeah.
Cha-ching,
Cha-ching,
yeah, I'm so terribly sorry.
Yeah, I know.
But, you know, here we are.
Yeah.
All those years later.
I know, yeah. So, and still speaking to each other.
Wow, and that's kind of 9/10 of it, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
'Cause,
so.
you know, we've moved in certain circles over the years and not necessarily talking to the same people after all this time.
Oh, well.
Well, you know, people move on and people move away, and people should just shove off. Not in that order. Glenn, we have a pre-recorded segment at the top of the show.
Yep.
It is called Lance TV's Artist Corner. Oh, I have to remember. I didn't write it down. I can't remember the artist's name, but they are an amazing visual artist. And when we come back, we're going to deep dive on Glenn Fisher right after this.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Goon. I'm 19 years old and currently reside in Ballarat, Victoria. In the future, I'm aspiring to become a contemporary visual artist. Over the past few years, I've had the opportunity to exhibit my works at prominent venues such as the Art Gallery of New South Wales and Melbourne Museum, which have been a really huge milestone in my career. And in my free time, I enjoy planning or creating art, which helps me stay very balanced and inspired. Looking ahead, I'm really excited to study for a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree next year, and I've always been really open to exploring new opportunities and challenges, and I can't wait to see what the future has in store for me. What kind of really got me started is a really long story. So I've been doing art all self-taught for like 14 years now, and I got started with drawing when I was around 5 years old. So I was just in grade prep at this time, and we were watching a movie, and weirdly enough, I remember the movie. It was Flushed Away, and we were just drawing while we watched this movie, and I was drawing a picture of Cinderella at this time because princesses, mermaids, and fairies were like a very huge interest in me back then at that age. So I'd really paid attention to detail and that natural imagination and creativity. And so after I finished this piece, I showed my art teacher, and she was like, "This is really amazing. We have to show the principal." And like, I just remember walking into the grade 5-6 classroom where she was, and I was a little scared, but my principal was extremely like delighted, and she was like overjoyed. So I think that was a really like sort of a first time that I found out that I was really like good at drawing and I had the potential for it. And I've also had multiple of my mom's friends say that I had a very large attention to detail when I was drawing at that young age of 4 to 5 years old. So yeah, that's kind of how I really got started because of that really huge encouragement at a young age. I do work in painting as well, but I do predominantly work in drawing because it is what I'm good at. But I really want to like expand and push outside of my comfort zone because I think that's really beneficial. So I'd really like to be really more well-rounded. Well, my work often sort of aims to communicate multiple personal aspects of my life. So like as a teenager, so this can really include the exploration of my cultural identity because I'm a half Filipino. And growing up with technology rapidly like permeating my generation because of like lockdown and stuff like that. And the process of growing and evolving from mental health, those are the sort of things I really love to explore in my art and like to communicate and explore. Currently, I don't really have a particular project that I'm working on, but however, at the moment, I'm trying to just learn how to paint leisurely and try out multiple mediums. I was just sticking to what I was safe at, as I said before, which was drawing, but I strongly believe that I just really need to get outside of my comfort zone. And I'm just aiming to really advance, experiment, and push my creative boundaries in order to achieve an original art style as well, as that's sort of what I've been working on, so yeah. So I got featured in Unicorn Lane through Ballarat Youth Services. I was asked by a youth development officer, and she was like, hey, would you like to be part of this group exhibition with other people in Ballarat? And I'm like, sure. So I kind of just took up on that opportunity because I like to take as many opportunities as I can. So I have 3 works on display at the moment. So the first one we'll talk about is the still life bedroom. I think it's really just a still life study, and it doesn't really have a meaning behind it. I just really wanted to draw something fun and really manipulate and include the perspective of my bedroom, and just have fun with that. And it was made with fine liners and permanent markers, so Sharpies. And the second artwork I had was another still life drawing of a bunch of plushes on my bed, so a bunch of plushies. I called it Still Life with Plush Ones because I must be really funny. And then I have the third artwork, which was just called Feeling Blueberry because it was a picture of me. I just kind of coloured in a selfie of myself. Keep experimenting, really stay persistent, and have a strong belief system. That's really important. And keep practicing. Just stay true to yourself and your vision, and embrace the journey of creating your art, and you really can't go wrong with that.
La 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 la. Jasmine Goon, that was that wonderful artist's name from Ballarat.
Oh, she's amazing. She's got some great works there.
I know.
Yeah.
Who knew? Somebody so young who could have such hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, I know. And different mediums as well. So that was really interesting that she uses. So.
Oh, look at you, pretending you know about art.
I did art back in about year 9, I reckon.
We'll get to that. Harper Francis Finitash Timmins. Hello from downtown Yannick. Do you know where Yannick is?
Yannick.
I think Yannick's in the Wimmera. Is Yannick in the Wimmera? Harper? I think it is.
Don't know.
No cheating.
No.
Harper will tell us.
Harper will tell us.
Harper will tell us because that's where they live.
Oh, okay.
So I was talking to Glenn earlier before the show, strangely enough, and just letting him know that December 6th will be the final show ever of Lance TV.
Oh, no.
I know,
Yes.
you just got here.
I know, I've only just arrived.
Yeah, that could be part of the reason.
Yes, yeah, it's going all downhill from here. Yeah.
That's right, you're coming for my gig, so get off before you get there. But yeah, so we're going to have a special final show on the 6th of December. We are reaching out to a whole bunch of old faces, like Glenn's.
Pretty old, yeah.
And seeing if we can get the band back together for one final big hurrah show. That'll be pretty interesting. What are you looking at?
I'm cheating, yeah, I am. I should know where Yannick is because I'm actually up from around there.
Yeah, well, that's what made me ask.
Yeah.
It's the Wimmera, isn't it?
It's past Nil and so up around my old stomping ground.
In the little desert or something?
Yeah, up
There
around
you go.
there, so yeah.
For some reason, I seem to know all about Yannick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Is that your go-to?
Yeah, who knew? Who would have thunk, yeah.
Oh, dear.
So that's, my part of the territory up in the Mallee Boy.
So that's, what's that? What happens up there? It's wheat?
Wheat, sheep mainly, yeah.
Wheat and sheep?
Wheat and sheep, yeah.
So lamb sandwiches?
Yeah, but it's not that far from Nil, which is duck country.
Oh. Welcome back. You're watching Let's TV. I am Lance Boyle, and I'm sitting here with the ever-lovely
Glenn Fisher.
There you go. Your camera's there.
That's my camera there. Hello.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
There you go. If you need to do one of those little side-eye things, like you just do it to your camera. No. That's what it's there for. Don't be shy. Now is not the time.
Moi? Shy?
Now is not the time.
You've known me long enough.
I've known you too long. Although having said that, like we haven't there has been quite a sizable break in between seeing. Well, I mean, if we saw each other a couple of months ago, but in between there's been a few years.
Been a few years, yeah.
You turned up in Darwin at one point, which was amazing.
Which for
not birthday, don't
for a special no.
My 60th.
Yeah. I thought it was your 50th actually.
No, it's all the It's all the young skin.
It's the oil of your land,
No,
isn't
it's
it, dear? No,
sperm. It's sperm.
definitely not.
All the years that we've known each other, you're on the show tonight, and I need to ask you this question.
What's that?
Are you ready for the interview?
Probably not. I don't think I've had enough alcohol, but anyway, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll be fine.
All
Yeah.
right. Now, darling, we've been doing the show for 7 years, and we've always started our guests with this very first question. Where were you born?
Not that far from Yannick, actually.
Speaking of Yannick.
So a little town up in the Mallee, a place called Rainbow.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a huge population of
Do they have a rainbow festival?
There's an iris festival, and there's a big, in the centre of town, there's a big rainbow sort of sign.
Oh, they've
et cetera.
got one of those in Dalesford as well,
Yeah.
I think for different reasons.
I think so too, probably.
But it'd be good if they had a rainbow festival.
No, they don't have
Because
a
everybody
rainbow.
come from all around to go there and go, this is not what we thought it was.
No, they're pretty straight in Rainbow, I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I went and did most of my primary school and my secondary school there. It's got a population of about 860, but
Thriving metropolis.
but my nearest town was a little town called Yarpeet, which only has a population of about 80 people.
Is that with 2 A's in it?
Yes, YAAPEET.
Wow. And what does that mean? Do you know what that means? Like, what mob's that up there? Do you know?
It is an Aboriginal name or
Yeah.
Indigenous name. And
Do you know what country that is, though?
Not offhand,
Yeah.
no, yeah.
Maybe Harper, if you're still watching, Harper, just drop it in the thread. What country is up there in the Wimmera?
So that's where I'm originally from.
Wow.
And so
and farming family?
farming family, yeah, wheat and sheep up there.
Lamb sandwiches.
Yes, exactly. Grew up on a farm.
How big was the farm?
Our farm was quite big, actually. Don't ask me how many acres or hectares or whatever. I couldn't tell you.
There was a lot of wheat.
There was a lot of wheat.
And where did the wheat get sold to?
To the Australian Grain Board or whatever.
Okay.
So the trucks would go and take it to the local railway and put it in the silo, and then they'd come and take it away on the trains and stuff like that.
So it goes from the property to the Australian Wheat Board and out.
And out, yep. And yeah.
Clearly there must have been a good dollar in it at the time.
Yeah, but again, droughts and things like that. Fires, I remember fighting a fire in one of our wheat crops one year. So mouse plagues, all sorts of things that we had to deal with up there.
Wow. I love a sunburnt country.
A land of sweeping plains, yeah.
of rugged mountain ranges.
There's not many rugged mountain ranges up there.
Lots of droughts and flooding rains.
Yeah, lots of that up there, yeah.
I love her core horizon anyway.
Yeah, anyway, yeah.
When we were talking just before the show, we were kind of going back through your family line, and you started to tell me about your nana on your dad's side.
Yeah, so
Thora Pittman.
yeah, so
Now the name Pittman spikes in my head, but tell us about Thora.
Thora, so she was my grandmother on my father's side. She got awards for elocution and stuff like that. But one of her relatives was a guy by the name of Sir Isaac Pittman.
Sir Isaac.
Sir Isaac Pittman, yes, Lord. And he was in the House of Lords over in London because he invented a thing called Pittman shorthand back in the day.
Oh my God.
So
here we all are going back to secretarial.
Yeah, I know, secretarial school back in our day when we did school and all that sort of stuff. A lot of people learned Pittman shorthand. And he actually tried to introduce a phonetic spelling. So everything, which is pretty much like today with kids on their texting and all that sort of stuff, abbreviating it all down to stuff. But yeah, he tried to introduce phonetic spelling, and in one of our family history books, I've actually got his headstone, which is all written in phonetic English, so that was rather interesting.
I bet Slade like that too. Wasn't the English band Slade? Didn't they use a lot of phonetic, like come on, feel the noise?
Yeah, that sort of stuff. So so
amazing.
Yeah. So that's, I suppose, where my love for the arts and stuff sort of initially came from.
Was through Pittman's shorthand.
Through Pittman's shorthand. Yep.
Not a lot of people could lay claim to that.
So yeah, but.
Tell us about high school, because high school for you was really where you started to get really quite creative.
Yeah, it was. So in year 7, I got introduced to performing arts. Our principal and his wife at the time used to direct a school panto or production every year, which was a lot of fun.
So you were performing in high school?
I was performing in high school, yes.
Look at you.
So in year 7, or Form 1 as it still was in those days, I got cast as Bonzo the dog in Jack and the Beanstalk it was.
Oh, look at you, headlining.
Bonzo the dog, that's me, yes. Yeah, so, and because of where we're situated up in the Mallee, we actually get a lot of sunny days, and there was a history of them coming and filming a few different commercials over the years up around that time.
Who are them?
These production companies.
Oh.
So in primary school, they came around the schoolyard and dragged half a dozen or 20 of us out, and we got cast in a drumstick commercial and got paid in drumsticks. So
there you go, up to your eye teeth in ice cream.
Ice creams, yep. But then in year 7, when I was doing the school production, they came along to a rehearsal and they wanted a young boy to basically play the brother of this sister that was going away to the city. And so I got cast in that role, so I got to be in an Ansett Pioneer Aussie Pass commercial.
Oh yeah, well that clearly worked well.
Yeah.
Who's Ansett? Whatever happened to Ansett? I don't know. Ask Reg.
Yeah, true. So that's, I suppose, where I got my love of acting and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're also a bit of a keen photographer.
Keen photographer, got into photography back there through my art teacher at the time, Ross Brown. And
black and white.
Black and white.
So were you in the darkroom?
Yeah, used to go into the darkroom.
Yeah,
learned how to do colour photography and develop colour and all that sort of stuff back in the day as well.
What sort of light do you need for that? Like when you're in the darkroom doing black and white, it's a red light. Isn't it?
Yeah.
What is it with colour? It's no light.
No light. No.
Cheryl would know. Cheryl's worked with Hasselblads.
Yeah. But that's about 1,000 years ago, and I can't remember.
I'm just letting you talk. Just
filling in the gaps.
See if Sophie's noticing.
So got into doing photography for the school magazine and all that sort of stuff back there. And also got involved, that's where I started DJing too. I did a couple of... Yep. Back in the day at the high school socials and things like that.
Scratching, it's making me itch.
I remember going and buying Joan Jett, I Love Rock and Roll. Our nearest record store was about an hour away, which was Horsham.
The big smoke.
The big smoke. So I remember going down there and buying a few singles back in the day before the school social, and the people at the school social would be lucky enough.
Did you have Ripper 1982 or something?
Probably, yeah, back in the day, yeah, had all those compilation albums.
Yeah.
The KTEL specials and all that sort of stuff.
Did you have one of those little KTEL sort of things?
Yeah, Record Selector or whatever they were, yeah. And now from KTEL.
Look at you go.
So that's where I got into my love of theatre and also my love of photography and my love of performing arts and
music.
And music, yeah.
Amazing, because you don't actually play, do you? Play an instrument?
No, I learnt keyboards for about that long up there, and also learnt drums for about that long up there as well.
Which is really funny, knowing you, like being a stayer and just going, yeah, drums, no.
No, keyboard, no. Not for me either. But again, it helped a hell of a lot, not only in my theatre, but also in music, for DJing and stuff like that, knowing beat counts and all that sort of stuff over the years. So,
amazing.
Yeah.
We need to go for a short break. When we come back, we're going to learn more about Glenn being in theatre. Look at your face, you're going, where are we going next? We're going to learn more about Glenn's involvement with Pro-Am Theatre here in Ballarat. But we're going to go for a short break, and we'll see you in a minute. Moo. So lots of love, lots of hearts coming up. Harper Francis hasn't said anything where Yannick is, but we've found out now, so that's all right. Yeah. So was there such a thing as beat mixing back then?
Back
When you were a slip of a child?
I didn't know about beat mixing back in Rainbow days. It was only once I started DJing here in Ballarat that I started and learnt sort of DJing properly.
You can't key mix though?
Not so much key mixing, but beat mixing, yeah. No worries. Yeah.
Well, most things are in 4/4, so
Yeah, so
can't have too much issue.
Nah.
But it's the beats per minute that you're looking at.
So you'd get up there and you'd count the beats per minute. You'd do a sample over.
Beat 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Swingers, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Always love a good swinger. Anyway, so that's where...
Golf. We were talking about golf.
Golf. 4. So, anyway, that helped a hell of a lot with learning to mix and knowing, what 4/4 and your beat breaks and all that sort of stuff for 4. So
Right. Yeah. So you, being the old dinosaur you are, you would have gone, did you go from vinyl to CDs back to vinyl?
Well,
I mean, we'll get to it,
yeah.
but in like technology, like did you move with technology?
Yeah, we didn't, because I started in 84 DJing and retired in 97. So I did it for 13 years straight there in the different pubs and clubs.
Yeah, we won't give away too much because we have to talk about it in the next segment.
Yeah, but so that was vinyl and CD.
Segment after. Yeah, knock yourself out. Everyone will forget by the time it's there.
But that was just vinyl and CD back in those days, basically. So
yeah, right. Because the machines that you see, the music now, like 4 kind of virtual kind of decks. Yeah. And everything's kind of like MP3 or
MP3,
whatever it is, AAVC or whatever it is.
Yep. Well and truly, and some of them even stream and stuff like that from the cloud and all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite amazing. Hello, welcome back to Lance TV. I'm Lance de Boyle. You caught me looking down at my phone because I noticed that next week's guest has turned up in the thread. Hello, darling. But right now I'm here with you. And what's your name again?
Glenn Fisher.
Glenn Fisher. Glenn Fisher.
That's me.
Glenn Fisher.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, darling, in the first part of the interview, we're kind of doing a lot of alluding to you being involved in theatre.
Yep.
You were 17 when you moved to Ballarat.
Yes.
You enrolled at Performing Arts at SMB.
SMB, yeah.
Which was part of Fed Uni. Was it BCAE back then?
It wasn't part of Fed Uni at that stage. It was part of the School and Mines. It was a TAFE college at that stage.
The whole thing was TAFE.
Yeah, the whole thing was TAFE back in those days.
And that's where we crossed paths.
Yeah. So
when you were 17, as I said, I'm so sorry.
Scarred me for life, big time, but no.
Set you in good stead for what was to come.
Scarred or scared me for life, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, come see, come say.
Yeah, totally. So Performing Arts.
So Performing Arts.
Performing Arts, you were appointed in the direction of a little Thai team, which is a theatre and education team here in Ballarat at the time, which was Force Company.
Force Company, yeah. So they did a little group thing called Ballarat Youth Theatre, which is where I eventually crossed paths with you, but met a lot of my good friends from who are still friends today.
Heenans,
the Heenans,
the Lees,
the Lees, and Sparky and all sorts of people over the time. They were involved in youth theatre, so I got to meet a lot of people in the local theatre scene who were sort of newcomers, I suppose, at that stage. So that was my introduction to theatre in Ballarat.
And somehow we ended up sharing a house with a character called Brian Lamond.
Yes.
That was on Webster Street.
Yeah, in 84.
In 84, gosh.
Yeah.
And it was around about that same time that for some reason everybody decided they were going to go and get involved with a pro-am company here in Ballarat called Lyric Theatre, run by the ever effervescent Fred Farger. Hi Fred, if you're watching. And his friend Ivan. And And it was Hello Dolly.
Hello Dolly, yeah.
Everybody fell into Hello Dolly, and there's
Yeah.
a whole new brave world open up there.
Well and truly. So yeah, a lot of, especially the female friends of ours at the time, like Andrea and Leanne and stuff like that.
Leanne.
Yeah, they were involved in.
That's right. We'll blame them.
Yeah, and yeah, because Dolly is so heavily male orientated as far as the ensemble is concerned for the waiters and all that sort of stuff, they put a shout out saying, hey, who can come along and do it? And yeah, so there was a number of us at the time, myself and Brian and Kerry Dakin and Lance.
And Craig.
Oh, Craig rather, yeah.
Yeah.
Craig.
But Kerry was, Kerry was there too.
Yeah, Kerry was in there, yeah.
Wasn't Kerry the one with the curly hair?
Yeah, because they're all,
And Craig was the one that lived on potatoes.
yeah.
Things you remember about people.
Yeah, and they were Kiwis, those guys.
That's
so
it.
yeah. So yeah, we all got
Kerry
it.
was good value. He
Yeah.
was up for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, anything.
So we got involved in that. Fred, for those people who aren't involved in local theatre here in Ballarat, was very well known. He hosted 6 to Night and Thursday Night Live on the local TV station here.
So that was back in the day when Ballarat had its own television station called
BTV6.
BTV6, and Fred had he was Western Victoria's night host on Thursdays, and I remember we all got a call. I was never in Dolly, but I used to go and watch. I was quite mystified by everybody sort of putting on their Sunday clothes and poncing around. But I think I ended up getting involved technically, I can't remember. And the call went out. Fred needed some guests, like to fill the seats at in Ballarat Tonight, whatever it was called. Yep. And Maria Venuti was on.
Yeah.
And we were bussed out. I'm pretty sure we were bussed out. I don't know how we got there. I don't know, brooms or something, I don't know.
But yeah, they used to have all the big international stars and stuff like that come and do the show at the time and stuff like that.
Yeah, Fred used to send a car down to Melbourne and pick them up and bring them up.
Yep. And Fred was very well respected in the theatre industry and used to go over and hold master classes over in New York and stuff like that. So
and he was a boy from Creswick, wasn't he? Like he was a local kid.
He was a local kid, yeah. So, but always ran his rehearsals and stuff like that as if you were getting into the pro theatre scene. They were very strict, very regimented.
He didn't muck. Fred did not muck around.
No, not at all. And it's funny just now being involved in theatre again and thinking, these people could do with a bit of discipline, but yeah. Just me getting old.
It's the Fred coming out of
it is. It's just, and me getting old and grumpy and but no. So 84 for Dolly was my first show with Lyric.
Right, and you also, was it the same year or the following year you did Chicago?
No, Chicago was 2004.
Was it? Oh, all right. Well, we'll come back to that one because that one's a good story.
Yep.
In 87, you scored yourself a job at St. Pat's, although you never went to university at that point.
No,
but you still got a job at the private school here as the AV tech.
Yeah, so got a job there. Up until that point in time, I'd always wanted to get into the media, either being in radio or television. I'd done numerous work experiences at various TV stations. I'd also gone off and done the Announcers Academy of Australia and done radio school, hoping to get in there, but nothing had eventuated. But yeah, got this job at St. Pat's, looking after their AV department, either both infrastructure-wise, so any hardware, whether it be for classrooms and things like that, but also audio-visual resources. And I'd set up for every guest speaker, every mass, every assembly, every speech night, all those sorts of things. So,
what did you know about AV before getting the job? That's what I want to know.
What did I do about it?
What did you know? Yeah, what did you know about audio-visual stuff?
Not a lot. Well, apart from...
Did you get the job because you knew somebody who knew someone? Look at me, hang on.
No, well, I did know somebody, a friend at the time. Her father worked up there. But no, I knew a little bit about, because I'd done some photography and part of the job involved actually going around and taking photographs of sort of day-to-day activities and stuff like that.
Documenting.
Yeah, and because I had an interest in audio-visual with television and radio, and I was also DJing at the time in the clubs and pubs around town.
And
so-
you were on 3BBB here,
Yeah,
Ballarat's first FM station.
Yeah, it
community
was.
Station.
Yeah, so the community station was 3BBB at the time. It's now known as Voice FM. But
Voice FM.
Voice FM, yes. 99.9 on your radio dial.
Still got it.
And I remember doing test transmissions at the time when we were applying for the licence.
Oh, look at you. There's you on Triple B.
Yeah, there's me on Triple B back in the day. Yeah, with
Oh my
Bobby
God,
Brown.
You look so much like Dione. Is it Dione?
Yeah,
Dione.
Dione, my sister.
Dione.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the genes are strong there. Look at your eyebrows.
Yeah, and what?
Look, they go all the way behind your headphones.
Yeah, and the permed mullet
Oh, with the tips.
with the tips. Yes,
And what's the album?
it's Bobby Brown.
Oh,
Every
look
little
at
step.
you. Look at that dinosaur of a console.
Yeah, that was.
And the mushroom record on the turntable.
Yeah.
That wasn't Bobby Brown. That was.
No, it wasn't Bobby Brown for the
I
mushroom.
wonder what
record.
Australian.
No, wouldn't.
Eurythmics.
Might have been
No,
Shantuzis or something.
Eurogliders.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what you're.
Oh, look at the dial-up phone on the wall. That's not a dial-up, it's a push button.
Yeah, but I also remember.
Old school. That's amazing. Thank you, Soph. That was a surprise. I didn't know that was going to turn.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, wow,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
how
so
I remember you before this.
Before this, yeah. This is COVID times. But yeah, so remember doing test transmissions in caravans at the top of Black Hill and walking along the caravan and the stylus were going blah, 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 across the record at the time. But yeah. So yeah, yes, our passion.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
So in 2014, you weren't acting.
no,
You had gone into a bit of a technical side of things.
yeah. So 2007 was my last show on stage for Cats.
Phantom of the Opera. I want to get to Phantom of the Opera because we need to go for an ad break soon.
Yep.
So Phantom of the Opera. Tell us about your role in Ballarat. Was that lyric as well?
That was lyric as well. Most of my shows have been involved with lyric theatre. We have two major theatre companies in town. Light Opera Company or Block is the other
What
one.
about national?
Major theatre companies. Like there's national is national isn't. There's a straight, whereas lyric and Block are your musical theatre.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay, so I'm sort of differentiating
Nice.
there. But yeah, so 2014, I was part of the tech team and got to be the chandelier mechanist.
What is a chandelier?
Chandelier mechanist. Well, at the end of Act 1, basically there's this huge big chandelier that comes crashing to the stage. Up until that point in time, all the amateur companies in Australia had done it the cheapest and safest way, which was to drop it from the top of the proscenium arch straight down. We were the first amateur company in Australia to do it the same way that the Pro Show did it. Drop it from the centre of the auditorium, swing it down to the stage.
Wow. And you bought some footage in
Yes,
for tonight. Let's see the footage of Glenn's chandelier.
So this was actually taken in the roof space.
No. The Phantom of the Opera is here inside my mind. Oh, thank you, everybody. Yay.
So,
Run! It's coming for you.
bang, bang, bang.
Oh.
So yeah, so it was from my vantage point in the roof space.
Oh, look at all
There's
the
flash
tips are
pots
coming down.
gone off, and there's gold glitter covering the audience, and
And I bet everybody sitting in those first 2 or 3 rows would go, oh, God, that nearly got me.
nearly got me. Yes.
That's
So
amazing. Thank you, Soph. Amazing. Whoa, that was a surprise. Well, that's been the show.
So yeah, so apart from the fact that 2 nights before we opened, I nearly put it through the roof of Her Majesty's Theatre.
Is that why they've done the update now?
Yeah, because the safety stop didn't work, and also every night I'd pre-run all the different cues I had to run
So
for
the
the
safety
chandelier.
stop was to look after, like when you winched it back
We
up.
winched it back up to the top of the position.
It just kept going.
It just kept going, and I nearly pulled the whole big winch motor through the roof, basically.
That would have been a corker thing to read on the front paper of the Courier.
And then, each night I'd run all the different cues, and one night I didn't realise that when I'd taken it up to its main height, that one of the lights around the top had actually got caught over the guy wire. So I brought it in doing that particular run, which was the fast drop, and the whole thing was going like this.
Oh, like
Yeah.
airplane trying to, an aeroflot trying
Yeah,
to land in
so this
Russian
probably
headwinds.
10-foot radius or diameter. chandelier come crashing down basically at full speed, and yeah, so
That's amazing.
yeah.
And does Lyric still have that kind of in the like, do they have a warehouse that looks after it?
So they've still got that in the warehouse.
Who made it?
I can't remember.
Kathy Lee's.
No, she didn't.
Kathy
actually.
Lee got a bejazzler out.
No, she didn't actually. So I don't. There was a number of people at the time that, because it was
All hands on.
Yeah, all hands on, because there was thousands and thousands of these glass beads that made up the chandelier.
Amazing. That's amazing. Talking about amazing, we do need to go for a short break.
No.
I know, just as we get there, we have to go, it's like I'm teasing you now. When we come back from the short break, we will have some more Glenn Fisher right after this. Yes, so Connor Overton Shaw, at the about 15 minutes ago. Yes, two natural golfers. Swings.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, two natural golfers.
Yeah.
So Connor actually has just come back from Vienna, when I say just, like a few weeks ago now, and was exhibiting and showing their work over there, which is very exciting. So Connor's on the show next week.
Okay, so what's Connor do?
Connor is a visual artist who has started to work with textiles.
Okay.
Yeah, which is super interesting stuff. And I've been chasing, actually Connor popped up in my thread like in a DM maybe a couple of months ago, and was like, hey, I've got some more things to talk about, when can I come back on the show? It's like, oh honey, how's this date? Great, done.
Done, yep.
Yeah, so, but they've been on the show before. It's super fun and just super creative. And we love creative people in this show, like a good self.
Oh, thank you, dear.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No,
thank you.
No, thank you. So yeah, 40 odd years, hey?
Yeah. Scary.
I know. Webster Street. Red balloon party.
Yeah, we were talking about that before.
The red balloon party.
Yeah,
that room that we used to play the volleyball in with the balloon while the strobe was going.
Yeah.
Wasn't that your bedroom?
Yeah.
No, I just suddenly remembered.
Yeah,
And it
the
had
one
that
off the lounge.
skylight in it.
The one off the lounge, yeah.
And and we'd trip ourselves out and run out into the lounge room back in the middle of the day going, ah!
Because, you and Brian had the front rooms.
Yeah, that's right. You had that room with that skylight, that's right. And we watched, I don't know how many times, Liquid Sky.
Oh, yes.
And you got the soundtrack for that, haven't you?
Yeah, somewhere, yeah.
I think you got it. I think you once told me you got it on vinyl.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've got it on vinyl
So
somewhere.
if you can ever find it and ever do a recording for me.
Yep.
Although I could probably find it on Spotify.
Probably nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, because that was a trippy movie.
Yeah.
They love me in Germany, baby. No.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, and like.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
And we do have a lift off. Back to Let's TV. I'm Lance Boyle, and I'm sitting here with the one, the only.
Glenn Fisher.
There you go. Now you're getting used to it.
And I can even point down my camera.
Straight down the camera.
Yeah.
You'll love watching this back because it's great. Because when it's you,
I can point at the camera.
there you go.
Yeah.
And when it's me, I can do it too. So yeah, you also wanted to talk about Superstar, but we might have to put that on hold because Jesus Christ Superstar was a big thing for you as well.
Yeah, it was, yeah,
But
huge.
I want to move into, we've been dancing around it, Retro Rats, 2015.
2015. So
What is Retro Rat?
Retro Rats was a brainchild of another DJ from Ballarat by the name of Steve Gill. Basically got a number of us DJs from the 80s and sort of 90s, but mainly sort of the 80s, together, and would do gigs here in town in Ballarat, about 2 a year sort of thing. And he'd get a number.
There's a young you.
Yeah, there's a young me from back in the day.
DJ Glenn.
DJ
The
Glenn.
Canopy Club. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's
so-
right.
Yeah, so they're the
God.
venues and stuff like that I
Oh, I
worked
feel
out over the time.
sick. No.
So Power Station, Golden City and Cheers. basically, it would be a case of getting us old DJs back behind the decks and pumping out the hits that we used to play back in the clubs and pubs back in those days. For all of us older people that don't go out clubbing and pubbing every weekend, we would do gigs, about twice a year, which would give us enough time to recover before the next gig.
Because it takes that long.
It takes 6
At
months.
our age.
And it does, let me tell you.
And you get a good turnout?
Oh, yeah. We'd have, the first couple... Well, the first one was at the George and we were limited by space there, but then we went down to what was the Canopy Club in Cheers, and that has numerous floors and venues, and we had probably, I think it was about 1,200 people come on to that one. So
where did they all come from? They dumped their children off and came out to play.
No, well, the kids are all grown up now.
Actually, the kids drove them there and then
yeah, probably, pick them up there. Come and get me, payback's a bitch, you know? Yeah. So we'd do a number of those. They've sort of quietened off a little to a certain extent. They're not as big as what they were, but people are still going out and loving them. We're still having a great time doing them.
Amazing. Just moving forward to more recently, you had a bit of a life-changing moment in your life. You were in hospital. You had a lung operation, doll.
Yes, I did, dear. Smoking way too much for far too many years. Was at work one day and thought, my chest's hurting, but it doesn't feel like a heart attack. Pulled a muscle, I'll go home, I'll sleep it off. Went back to the doc the next day because I woke up still feeling like shit and found out I had a collapsed lung.
Glenn.
And the specialist said, you've got these air sacs in your lungs, one of those is collapsed, but you should be right, but you can't go flying until you get dealt with. So I had what's known as a lung wedge resection back in June.
A lung
wedge resection, where they went in and they stapled off the top of my left lung and cut the top of my left lung off.
Oh, so you've got kind of a lung and a half now?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So,
very Peggy Lee.
Yeah. And so that was a major health sort of change. So gave up cigarettes basically overnight after having smoked for about 40 years.
It was life-changing for you though, because it wasn't long after that you kind of reviewed stuff and went, you know what, St. Pat's, I've given you 37 good years, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'd sort of decided, I'd had sort of a couple of times earlier in the year where I thought, I really haven't been happy here for a number of years. I've done a lot of stuff at the school over the years through directing school and choreographing school productions and all sorts of things. But just decided, I'm in the latter part of my sort of working life and there's more to life than that. So I thought, okay, after 37 years, time for a change. I'm working casually in hospitality, which I've done for a number of years now since retiring from DJing because I enjoy that aspect of it. But just thought, time for a complete change physically, and also mentally, just, let's mix it up. So, go up some hats.
Well, to mix it up even more, we've come to the end of the interview. I know. But before we close off completely, I want to give you this lovely little bag from Tiny Pride. You can pop your vinyl in there and go to the next retro wrap. And I also want to give you this framed photo of me saying, I was on Let's TV. There you go.
Thank you, Lance.
Oh, thank you, darling. Oh, I felt that. It was like a voodoo doll photo.
I nearly wore my Lance TV badge that you gave me a while ago. I know I should have.
Well, at least you can. That photo in particular has turned up in many places. We often always go back to Dr. Rachel Goff's interpretation of just pop me on the cistern.
Okay.
And it's quite unnerving to be on the toilet and know that you're looking over your own shoulder. Thank you so much for making the time, Glenn, and sharing kind of selected highlights of your quite an amazing life. You've packed a lot in, really, and you've still got a lot to go.
Yeah,
so,
well and truly.
Yeah. All right,
okay.
well.
Thank you, my dear. It's been wonderful to catch up and reminisce about old times.
Well, there's more to come. Speaking of more to come, we are going to go for a short break, and we'll see you right after this. We hope you enjoyed our interview with the lovely Glenn Fisher, theatre hound and retro rat. Glenn doesn't have any socials for us to point you to, so with that in mind, Lance TV will be back right after this series of short messages. Bruce Hatfield is in the thread. Hey Lance TV Ballarat, love your work. Love yours too, Bruce. And I always love it when you turn up in the thread because it always cues me to tell everybody if you have the CTV Plus app, you can watch Channel 31 and 44 anywhere that you want to. And the reason why I'm telling you that is that Bruce works with a lovely, cheeky, young, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed gentleman by the name of Johnny Wombat, and together they have a show called Out of the Can. I think it's on at midnight tonight. So if you like short Australian film, that's the place to be at midnight. And I think there's a repeat at, I don't know, God Almighty in the morning on a Tuesday. I think it's 3 o'clock in the morning or something. Let me know, Bruce. Do you like short Australian short film?
Yeah, quite enjoy.
Name one. I knew that'd do it. Walk right in, sit right down.
Hang on, I'll just grab the fidget spinner.
Yeah, now's the time for the fidget spinner. That's right. Have a sip. Don't forget to have a sip. We're in Facebook land.
Yeah, because I've got my non-discriminate Rock of Ages. My Rock of Ages stubby holder. So I'm not advertising.
That was recent. That's only in the last couple of years, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Lyndon Chris was, I know Lyndon Chris was guitarist.
Yeah, and likewise Lyndon was in Superstar, guitarist for that too. He's just an amazing guitarist.
Oh my gosh, he's an amazing human being.
Yeah, beautiful.
He's a bit out there, but I kind of like that about Lyndon. He's always been a bit out there.
Yeah. And that was probably one of my favourite shows to actually do. Just the music was all 80s, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, right, you were home. You were home.
Yeah, I was home, sweet home.
Bruce has dropped it in the thread. I recommend you see Memoirs of a Small for a Great. Oh, Memoirs of a Snail. There you go. So if there's one for you. Memoirs of a Snail for great Aussie film, guys.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you, Bruce. Bruce does, he lifts weights and does lots of body beautiful, like.
Oh, I do too, can't you tell?
Dr. Scott, Brad, Janet, Bruce. No. Yeah. But they're a pair of lovely guys and they've been on Channel 31 for, oh my gosh, probably about... Welcome back to Lance TV. It's time for All Over the Shop. Tomorrow in Geelong, Day of the Dead Fiesta. Hola to all my Mexican friends. Geelong West Town Hall, it starts at 1:30. Sunday is the Sunday spoken word at the Crypt here in Ballarat on Camp Street. That starts at 6:15 and goes through till 8:15. Everybody's invited. The 14th of November, Lel Bushfire Planning Workshop, and that'll be at the Soldiers Memorial Hall on Clarendon Lel Road. It's a reminder. The 16th of November, Victorian Medieval Festival. Where else would it be? Of course, Cryle Castle, and that starts at 10 o'clock on the 16th, goes the whole weekend. 20th is the Trans Day of Remembrance 2024. In this instance, it's Bendigo, sending love to all our trans people across Victoria and wherever you're watching from. 21st of November, Troy Sivan will be at the Arts Centre in Melbourne. That starts at 7 o'clock. That's on the 21st. 23rd of November, local plant sale with Wadawurrung Nursery at Saltbush Kitchen, and that's at Urquhart Street, and that starts at 10 o'clock. 24th of November, Tash Sultana live at the Gardens with some other people. It's an all-ages gig at the Royal Botanical Gardens, Victoria, starts at 3. 28th of November, the ACME, which is the Australian Centre of Moving Image at Federation Square, has a focus on Björk, and that starts at 6:30. 29th of November is the Trentham Twilight Night Market, and that's on Market Street. That starts at 4 o'clock. It's a beautiful kingfisher there. The 30th of November, Mayhem Songs of the Torres Strait Islands, and that'll be at the Melbourne Recital Centre from 7 o'clock. But if you missed that, it's also happening at the Good Shed Ballarat on the 1st of December. It's led by our good friend Deb Clark and on lovely Stella Setti. That starts at 2:30 on the Sunday. The 4th of December, the Kransky sisters present a cracker Kransky Christmas, and that'll be at Jellybrand Street in Colac. And back to the studio. We're throwing lollies and Glenn's running around the stage. There you go. Oh,
no.
there's like lollies all over the stage, courtesy of our floor manager, Cheryl Schlossi. You can't see this. Cheryl is, get the long shot. No. I like the smile. That was cheeky. That was great. And this is Lance TV at its finest. That's right. Quality TV. You'll never forget. Glenn.
Lance.
In amongst everything else that you've done,
Yep.
Probably more in recent years, you have found yourself the travel bug.
Yeah, I've done a bit of travel here, there and everywhere. Been to Fiji. Bula. And one of my things that I used to do in my spare time before lung issues was scuba diving. Went scuba diving over there with the sharks. We had big bull sharks everywhere without cages, and
great.
they hand fed all the sharks.
Are they placid sharks?
No, they're just under great whites, basically, as far as ferocity and all that sort of stuff is concerned.
And you're hand feeding them?
Oh, we weren't.
With no cage?
We weren't. The dive leaders were. Yep. There was no tiger sharks that day. They were there the day before, but yeah. So.
Wow.
But yeah, so did that. Travelled around the South Pacific on a couple of cruises, which has been amazing. And
You've just recently come back from Thailand?
yeah, went to Thailand after my lung op earlier this year. Spent 10 days there, but spent a month in Southeast Asia for the first time last year. Did Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand. So
Are they all Buddhist countries?
pretty much, yeah. So yeah, did Angkor Wat and all that sort of stuff, and How Long Bay,
wow.
and
Very Tomb Raider.
yeah,
of you.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I got to see where Tomb Raider was shot. So
Wow.
yeah. So and had photos taken underneath the trees and all that sort of stuff. That Angelina Jolie was there.
Oh, did you touch a tree that she touched?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
And, but yeah, the people in Southeast Asia are just so beautiful. They really are. Love being over there, and yeah. So
And where have you predominantly been around Southeast Asia, or have you been elsewhere?
mainly just to the Pacific, and then Southeast Asia. Looking forward, probably next trip that I want to do is Japan. So
I was in Japan at Christmas last year.
Yes,
It's a great spot.
yeah, so saw your feed from last year. Looks like you had a ball.
It
there
was
last time.
hilarious. It was great. We were there for 4 weeks. 4 weeks in one spot was probably too long, in the scheme of things. But, it might pay to sort of go, all right, well, we'll go to the stopover and stop there and then head to... I wouldn't mind Thailand.
Yeah, no, Thailand's beautiful. It really is, lovely people. Yeah,
What side of the road did they drive on?
I drive on the left.
As us?
Yeah.
Are they interesting drivers, or are they good drivers?
Vietnam's interesting because of all the motorbikes and that over there.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Saigon is absolutely crazy nuts. Like there's...
One night in Bangkok and the world's yours.
Yeah, if you've seen Pub Street in Thailand, that's pretty much it. Not in Thailand, in Saigon.
Yeah, sorry, that was my mistake. Wrong musical.
Yeah. Saigon would be Miss Saigon.
Miss Saigon.
Yeah. So yeah.
I don't know any tunes from that.
No. But yeah, so very interesting. Yeah, crazy nuts, the amount of people over there and the amount of traffic.
So what you're saying is don't drive in Southeast Asia?
Probably not a good idea, no.
Because Japan was so easy.
Yeah. But yeah, they're nuts over there as far as...
well, everyone know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, yeah. And like I've got a Vietnamese T-shirt that says, with the traffic lights, green I go, yellow I still go, red I can still go.
Just don't look anyone in the eye.
Yeah, and that's basically it. You
go.
They're just coming left, right and centre, and you just walk across the street and they'll swerve around you.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy, but it's great. Yeah.
I remember something, and I actually applied it when we were in Japan, because we were in Tokyo for a minute, and like Tokyo is the world's most populated city on Earth, and we went to the, I can't think what it's called, the Shuberry Crossing.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, another one. Yep.
And it was like, don't look anyone in the eye, just walk.
Yep.
And so that's what I did. And we must have crossed like about 4 times for the experience. But yeah, it was like, don't look at anyone, just go.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to imagine that's the same, but I wouldn't like to do that in a car.
No. So, no.
Therein
definitely.
lay the difference.
Yeah.
Glenn Fisher, thank you so much. You are an impeccable human being.
Well, thank you, Nance.
I'm sorry that you've been unwell, but I'm glad you're better.
Yes.
And that there's more of Glenn Fisher to come.
Yeah.
Stand aside, world. We do know, inside scoop, that Glenn is returning to the stage next year.
Next year for
Next
lyrics
year.
production.
No, we won't say which one.
No, but yeah.
We don't have time in the show to talk about that. But thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
Chookers, darling.
Thank you, dear.
And to everybody watching. We will see you again next week. And between now and then, be kind to yourself and be kind to others.
Thanks for watching Lance TV. We'll be back same time next week. Lance TV is made possible through funding from the Community Broadcasting Foundation. I'm voiceover guy Randall Smith. See you next time.